What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Clearly Distorted podcast, where we share our clearly thought out ideas through our distorted lenses. I am Damien. That is Julian, and the one and only Patricia. She is back.
What up? What up, my peeps?
How you guys doing?
What's up, people?
How was everybody's holiday? How was your Thanksgiving?
I had my Thanksgiving today because
You did hold on, I've been dying to say this.
That's my word.
Did you have turkey for Thanksgiving in Turkey?
In Turkey, yes.
it's Turkey, not Turkey. They changed the country's name.
Well, they need to get the rest of the world up to date on that because I didn't get that memo.
You didn't get that memo. Everybody else did. I did have turkey in Turkey.
That's dope. Why? I mean, is there like a community of Americans there that are celebrating Thanksgiving? Like, how does that work?
No, so Thanksgiving was just a regular day here. Thursday and Friday, it was regular day. So that's why we did a Thanksgiving lunch today. And it was just a very nice friend that I have. And she found a turkey and she's like, let's have Thanksgiving. So I was able to have, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, turkey. I was very happy to, be part of that. So I'm very grateful to her.
Is she American?
She is, but she's married to a Turk.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Then.
Yeah.
So, we were going to talk about this. So, we were talking about it, Dame and I. So, should we change the name of the holiday of Thanksgiving? Because like in America, like it's rooted in a lot of bad shit and nobody wants to really acknowledge that, but I love the holiday. I love the food. I love kind of the idea of what it represents. You should be thankful every day or whatever, but the true kind of history behind it is pretty dark and pretty terrible. So so I was thinking maybe we should try to come up with our own names for
Well, aren't they calling it already Indigenous Day?
Yes.
No, I thought that
some
was
people
Columbus.
are.
I thought it was Columbus.
It's Columbus Day? I thought it was.
I thought it was Thanksgiving.
Well,
or I think
for argument's
Friday.
sake.
I think Friday is Indigenous Peoples Day, not Thanksgiving. The day after.
I mean, but why would we change the name now? Because it's Thanksgiving. You give thanks. Like, what? I would understand if it was different name.
Because it has the whole pilgrims attached to it and that whole village.
Change the whole pilgrims and stuff, but don't change the name. Thanksgiving is a nice name.
It is a nice name, but then we don't have a segment about Thanksgiving if we don't change the name.
So Patricia votes to keep it the same.
Well, I'm gonna give my stupid name Turkey Special Day.
Oh my god,
that sucks.
The Turkey Special Day.
I know you
came
up
off
with
on
something
Turkey
better
Special.
than that.
I didn't.
I thought he was gonna say something good.
I really was
Turkey
expecting better from Julian.
The Turkey Special Day.
Like he's been thinking about this for 4 days.
Yeah,
The turkey.
No. It just popped in my head. The Turkey Special Day.
Nah, that's not gonna work, bro.
It just, please, both of you say it.
The Turkey Special Day.
Special Day sounds whack as shit.
Doesn't even flow. Doesn't roll.
I mean, just call it the Stuff Yourself Day. Stuffing Day.
And then for short, you can call it TSD. But you
No,
don't
that's
have TSD.
It sounds like a disease. It's horrible.
Exactly.
Sounds like a venereal disease.
Well, because
Sexually
STD,
transmitted disease.
STD, TSD, it's pretty close.
That's
For
no
dyslexic
good.
people, this would be a very fucked up holiday.
It would be dope. Could you imagine? You'd be like, I got an STD on TSD.
Oh man,
that shit would be great.
I mean, I don't know how great that sounds, bro.
That sounds horrible.
I mean, I've never had one, but I wouldn't. That's probably not the day I would want to get one either if I had to pick.
You've never had an STD?
No.
Okay. Have you
You'll
had a
never forget it
UTI?
though.
Have I ever had a UTI? No.
Yeah.
So somebody had a UTI and also got an STD on TSD. That would be
A shitty day.
it would be a shitty day. But hey, you'll have some turkey and stuffing.
And yeah, you're gonna have some more shit
Damien,
too. Yes.
So what's your
did
idea?
you enjoy Damien, did you enjoy stuffing your turkey?
I don't stuff my turkey. I deep fry it.
Hmm.
But I did
You
also
don't- you
make
don't-
the stuffing. I'm not listen, I'm not fucking with y'all, man. I'm on it. Listen.
Listen, I'm
Did
just
you
asking
did you dip your turkey in, you know how they do it in did you dip it?
Did I dip it? No.
You know, where they set themselves on fire and shit. Are you
Nah.
one of those guys?
Nah, we have
Damien,
an electric
did
fryer.
you eat the turkey neck?
No. Did not eat the turkey neck. That shit doesn't even make it. That shit goes in the trash immediately.
So what's your Thanksgiving name, Damien? Being that, turkey special days and good enough.
Thanksgiving is also my favorite holiday, aside from my birthday.
That's not a holiday, bro.
My birthday is a fucking holiday.
You're really big on yourself.
My birthday is a holiday. You sound like a hater, sir. Back up.
What day is your birthday? Does it actually fall on a holiday, or are you just thinking it is a holiday?
My birthday is the 4th of July.
Oh gosh.
The entire country celebrates my birth. Thanks,
that
Mom.
Is really awesome. Not really. But anyway, so what's the name?
Back to the topic. Yo, I think all three of us have ADD, like severely. For real. I came up with Harvest Day and Feast Day.
You sound like one of them old crackers. Like,
Oh my
God. Harvest Day, like
because I tried to keep it somewhat in line, with the tradition, but separated from it. You know what I mean? But
did you just name it like Autumn Meals, like Harvest Day? Okay.
Listen, it was better than Special Turkey Day.
Oh my God, that is too. That sounds like Special K.
Turkey Special Day.
Whatever.
I would call it
Special Turkey Day would actually be STD. Oh shit. Where are we going? This was not planned.
I would call it Lechoneando Day. And if you're Puerto Rican, you know exactly what I mean.
And if we're not Puerto Rican,
why would you Puerto Ricanize that holiday?
Because I can.
Awesome.
We do the best Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, but us Puerto Ricans do the best Thanksgiving.
I concur.
Thank you, Julian.
We don't do none of that fried turkey shit. You fry your turkey, Dave.
Yeah.
That's so damn American if you think about it. Just fry everything.
No, that's Southern with soul.
That's
Americans. Americans spend the whole fucking day cooking their turkey in the oven, roasting it to death, and it comes out dry.
No, it doesn't come out dry if you base it.
Fuck out of here. Listen, I know how to cook turkey.
Do you bread your fucking turkey too?
That's a good idea. I might consider that next year.
Wait, you don't?
You don't bread turkey, no.
Oh, what? Seriously, when you said that you fried your turkey, I thought that you bread, like I was thinking like of a fried chicken.
It's like his little breadcrumbs and
no.
Do you tap it? Do you slap that ass when you
I'm gonna get a shake and bake for my turkey next year.
You put it in a big bag and you
No,
I love Puerto Rican Thanksgiving. I love the food. I love everything. And I'm very thankful that I came to the United States of America at some point in my life and tried the most wonderful thing called pumpkin pie.
Oh fuck.
Pumpkin pie is superior to sweet potato pie, Damien.
Yeah.
Ew.
That's why
Is that what they put with the marshmallows?
sweet potatoes, yes. We call them yams.
No.
Wow, okay, Mr.
Pumpkin-
Fried Turkey.
Pumpkin over sweet potato?
Of
That's
course.
like
Mm.
blasphemy. What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
What are you talking about? I bet
It's
you
so
pumpkin
good.
outsells sweet
Listen.
potato pie.
Funny story. My wife's cousin is carrying on. She hates sweet potatoes. She loves pumpkin, right? So
Pick-
after
we need her
dinner,
name.
no, I'm not gonna do that. After dinner, having dessert, she's killing this pie. She's going in. It's the best pumpkin pie I've ever had in my life.
Of course, it's sweet potato
It
pie,
was sweet
right?
potato pie.
So if that's the case, then she doesn't really understand pumpkin pie because you cannot mix those flavors. Although I've never had sweet potato pie.
I've never had it like made. I've only ever had it bought and store bought.
See, that's the problem right there.
Is that the problem?
That's probably the problem. Do you
Listen,
is that the same with sweet potato pie? Do you make it or do you buy it?
I've had it made. Listen, you know who the makes a good store bought pie? Patty LaBelle. That's just slamming.
Oh yeah, I've had her pie before. It's all right.
Slamming.
He said slamming is all right.
But for Julian, all right is like really good.
Well, no, I have high standards when it
'Cause he
comes to
hates
certain
everything.
things, but it's pretty good. I don't hate everything, Damien. I just don't fucking love everything. I don't fucking, ooze all over every fucking thing I see like you.
Ooze. Mm.
He oozes.
Ooze.
He gushes. I was trying to come up with some clever word, but
Yeah,
I got stuck in it, and ooze just came out.
I don't eat any pie except pumpkin pie, and that's for Thanksgiving. That's it.
Oh, I like pumpkin pie. I do like sweet potato pie, apple pie. I'm not a big cherry pie fan. Cherry pie is all right. Key lime pie is
But
all right.
I've never had like the American Thanksgiving dinner either. Like I've never had collard greens or I don't know what's the standard American Thanksgiving.
It
What do you-
depends
what-
on
what the-
it depends on what part of the country you're from.
Okay. Like that cranberry sauce. I don't even know what
I
it's
like
used.
cranberry.
And-
We have it.
Yeah.
I don't like. I didn't eat it this year, but we had it. But I usually, if I have a little bit, it's like a little bit, but it's too sweet for me.
Yeah. Our Thanksgiving has always been very Puerto Rican.
Yet
Anyway.
you've never had it any other way. So,
I would
I don't-
never have it any other way.
but you've never tried anything else. So how can you determine that that's the
Because
best?
why am I listen, it's all by visual. Do I want to eat arroz con gandules or do I want to eat some macaroni and cheese? No, I'm gonna go with arroz con gandules. Do I want to eat some yuca
would go
al
with mac and
ajillo or
cheese.
do what?
Listen,
Yeah.
my mom every year tells me, because she's a bit more health conscious than I am, or I should say a lot more health conscious than I am. Every year she says she's not going to make it. And, if that day comes, she might have to cease from being my mother because mac and cheese is a must on Thanksgiving Day. She's got to make it every year.
It's a staple. You can't.
Have to.
I don't know.
Have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know, like again, I was raised in Puerto Rico, so there's no mashed potatoes, there's no cranberry, there's no macaroni and cheese, none of that.
Mm.
Yeah, but the
I've
stuff
experienced both.
I will say like what you're describing, it's shit that we eat every fucking weekend. Like
Yes. Yes. The Puerto Rican Thanksgiving is a regular Sunday meal.
it's
You mean
regular.
American people are not always eating macaroni and cheese?
Not the combination of those dishes, no.
The baked macaroni, because it's really baked macaroni. Like I don't think
I want
anybody
to
just
know
puts.
how often. I want to know how often does Puerto Rican eat a turkey and arroz con gandules and guineitos en escabeche and yuca al ajillo all at once. Everybody eats mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese in America every week.
It's baked mac and cheese is different than like the fucking box of Velveeta. It's not the same thing.
It's not the same, right? Tanisha, who's super Puerto Rican, she has a incredible mac and cheese. Like, yeah. So I don't know.
No. I love macaroni and cheese. I love macaroni and cheese. But if I had to choose either or, I would never pick macaroni and cheese over arroz con gandules.
All right. Well, moving on.
Yeah, that was
what we got next.
I mean, shit, man. We might as well just get right to it and get it out of the way. The name that we have banned from being spoken shall be spoken again.
That was you. You were the only one. Patricia and I think Patricia joined this podcast for Kanye West.
I did. I even wanted to have like a shirt with his picture on it just for you.
Oh, Jesus. Well,
it's ye. It's not Jesus. It's ye.
Yay.
Yay, 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 yay.
Yay.
Well,
yay.
Recently visited Mar-a-Lago to see Mr. Donald Trump to ask him if he would be his vice president. That's the funniest shit in the world, man. Kanye West wants Donald Trump to be his vice president.
And Donald Trump, of course, was offended.
How dare you? I mean, on so many levels, it is disrespectful, and which makes it hilarious. But what makes it even funnier is coming from Kanye West, a black man.
But I have a question. Did he go ask him if he wanted to be his VP after Trump announced?
Yes, this just happened like a couple days ago. Yesterday.
I love it. Do you guys think that this was a setup? Do you think that this was organized? Like they had a conversation about it? Or do you think that Kanye is so out of this world that he's like, oh, let me go. Like this guy was the president. He announced he's going to run again. And I'm going to go to his home and say, hey, do you want to be my VP? Like, how does that even work?
There's no doubt in my mind that was all Kanye. Trump is an egomaniac. There's no way.
No. So is Kanye.
But what I'm saying is, her question was this planned?
I don't mean planned by both. I mean, do you plan like Kanye did this, but like I know he planned to do it, but do you think like the reason why he did it is just because he wants to be on the media 24/7, or did he actually think that the other idiot is gonna be like, oh yeah, let me not run for president and be vice president?
Okay, so I think that, to your point, I don't think he thought in a million years that Donald Trump would be like, okay, let's do it. You know, like I don't think that's what it is. And because Kanye was the one who announced it and spoke about it, I think he did do it for media attention. Yeah, but just the idea that those two egomaniacs are sitting in a fucking room together and they're having a conversation on argument. God, I wish I could have been there to see that. Because really, the both of them probably just think that they're just so good and so superior that how dare, like, oh, I would have loved to see Donald Trump's face.
I think it was real. I think Kanye West really went there with the intention of getting himself a vice president. If it was just if it was just for a photo op or the opportunity to get news coverage, it could have been a phone call. He could have made it on speaker and called the guy recording it. And you know what I'm saying?
But like, that doesn't have the same effect as being at his home.
It would have got the same coverage. Kanye
but it
West
wasn't
asked Trump,
but it wasn't public. If it was public, then I would agree with you. But it wasn't public.
What do you mean?
There were no cameras there.
That's how we saw it.
No, we heard about it. Kanye was talking about it. But there was no video of the two of them.
Like the meeting
there.
wasn't being
right.
videotaped.
But that's what I'm saying. The same way we saw a clip of Kanye talking about it, we could have seen the clip of, you know, him making the phone call if it was just for that. he didn't have to go there to have dinner with him to achieve a news coverage. He could have made a phone call.
You know,
He went there to have dinner with him, just like you hear or see in movies and stuff. And he drops that shit on Donald Trump's lap. It's like, oh, by the way, we have the same similar ideas what's going on in the country. How would you like to be my VP? And Donald Trump probably was like, what?
I would have loved to see his face.
It's so annoying to me that this gets so much coverage. I really think that, I really do think that anybody that that meets the requirements to run for president or whatever, they should. But I don't think that these type of things should be getting media coverage. I definitely don't think that Donald Trump should be getting any media coverage, being with all the legal mess that he's like going into. I cannot believe that he's allowed to run again, and I would not give them the airtime. I don't know why they give
But
Kanye and Trump so much. Huh?
But here we are.
Yeah, because Damien wants to talk about Kanye West.
Listen, if I never say his name again, I'll be thrilled.
Well, just a few months ago, you were like a fan. I don't know.
Who, me?
Of his music, of his early music, I should say.
I mean, me too, but I'm just like so over the bullshit. There's so much this is how I feel like, people don't get educated. There's so much that we can be talking about when it comes to candidates that are running. We should give, as the media goes, they should give priority to what's important. Everyone knows that Kanye West running for president and Donald Trump running for president is just a circus shit show, that's going around. And I feel that the important candidates, the important people, the people that take this job seriously don't get enough coverage because we have these two side monkeys, parading themselves in front of the TV.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I would agree. We give way too much attention to the circus.
Yeah, CNN did say like a week ago, we talked about this last episode just a little bit, that they learned their lesson and they're not going to give him Trump like unfettered attention. They'll cover what's part of his campaign, but every time he does or says some asinine shit, they're not giving it 24/7 coverage anymore. So we'll see if the others follow suit and what the outcome from that will be.
I mean, Fox would never do that.
It almost seems like Fox has turned on him too.
We'll see when these polls start going, and
Yeah.
Fox is soulless, so along with the Republican Party. So as soon as whoever is seemingly the more popular candidate, whether it's Trump or DeSantis or whoever it is, they'll support him again. They're only deviating slightly because of the criticism he's given them and the fact that they may have another horse in the race, but they're soulless. They're gonna go for whoever the nominee is.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
I really don't think the country can take another 4 years of Trump. I mean,
well,
the thing we do, and like, I thought this skit or this segment was going to be almost like a comedy skit, right? Because it's absurd, right? Kanye West, Donald Trump having this conversation. But Patricia, you brought it back to the center, and this is where we really should be talking about it in that context. But any media that's going to cover this, or anyone who's going to cover this, is more than likely going to just stay focused on the absurdity of Kanye West and Donald Trump sitting in front of each other talking about who should be president and who should be VP, when neither one of them are even remotely qualified.
Man,
So,
this
it is crazy.
It's going to be a shit show.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's going to be a complete circus.
I think the 2024 cycle will be something like we've never seen before.
And the craziest thing, I'm sorry to cut you off before I forget. The craziest thing is that we say that about every cycle. It gets worse and worse and worse and worse. When Hillary ran, we're like, oh my God. And then Trump, and then this, and Sleepy Joe, And I mean, it gets worse and worse.
How many of us would love to go back to John McCain and Sarah Palin?
Listen, I would say Bush. Oh, I can't even believe I said that. Over this shit in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I wouldn't even be a thought.
I like the SNL Sarah Palin. That's who I like.
Was it Tina Fey? Was that?
Yeah. Tina Fey, yeah.
Yeah. It does seem to get crazier and crazier every single election. This is going to be crazier than Trump going against Hillary, Trump going against Biden. It's going to be crazy. Especially, I mean, could you imagine DeSantis, Trump, and Kanye West in a debate?
I don't think I would watch. Honestly, to be honest with you, I don't think I would watch.
I'm gonna watch.
I'm watching. I'm
watching it. Yeah.
I don't think I would watch. I think I would watch the clips that the news would. I don't think I could physically sit and watch a debate with those three idiots. I don't think I could.
Yeah, I might not make it through, but I'm definitely sitting down to watch it.
The thing is, the thing is,
it's a train wreck.
I think a lot of voters out there, for some reason, if they're more entertained by a debate, they're likely going to pick that whatever candidate. They're going to turn around and they're going to watch this circus and then go ahead and watch a Democratic debate and be like, that was boring, that was stupid, I didn't like it.
Which that's what Trump did on the last cycle.
That was one of the tactics. Yeah, it was completely entertaining. I mean, look, I had nothing but joy watching him shit all over Ted Cruz. Right? Like, who didn't enjoy that? Like, let's be honest, who did not enjoy that?
I enjoyed parts of it. Honestly, I felt bad when he was beating up on Jeb. Like, I felt bad. Like, Jeb just looked like he wanted to cry. But yeah, the Ted Cruz thing and Marco Rubio was pure comedy.
What was the other guy from New Jersey?
Chris Christie.
Chris Christie.
Oh, yeah. That was a horrible time. That was a horrible election time.
Yeah. In every way.
And then the Republicans have the nerve to talk so badly about the squad. What is it that they're called? I can't remember. What is it that they call the girl? The squad. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're extreme. They're nowhere near extreme.
Yeah.
So, yeah, total circus. I don't even want to pretend like I'm not going to be glued to the TV watching that, because I am. But yeah. I think people should just look at it for what it is. It's a show.
Pure entertainment.
Unfortunately, that's not how our politics should be. That's not how our elections should be run. But
yeah,
what I would love, even though I would watch it, but if the media said, no, we're not covering that, there is not going to be any debate, I would support that. But if they put one on, I'm watching it. So I'm a hypocrite in that way, I guess.
I'm watching, and I hope it's televised.
I just watched the highlights. I could not sit through a whole thing.
We should have a watch party. We should have a watch party when
we should do that
on the podcast,
broadcasted live.
That'll force Patricia to watch it.
Oh my god!
Man, let's do it, man. So, as if Kanye asking Trump to be his vice president wasn't crazy enough, he brings along a white supremacist to join him. What was his name? Nick
a Mexican one.
A Mexican white supremacist. You can't make this shit up.
Or he's got some Mexican in him, regardless.
Regardless.
I don't understand what's going on here with we're seeing maybe it's just the way things are being reported, but we're seeing a lot of Hispanic and black white supremacists.
A
How does it
lot.
make sense? You know, everywhere from, and when I say white supremacists, I include Herschel Walker and Kanye West and Candace Owens and all of those people, because it's essentially what they are. We're just seeing a lot more of them being represented in the media.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
And I don't understand it.
I mean, of course you understand it.
No, I don't understand how you could wake up in the morning and be on that side of any of those issues.
Oh, I thought you meant as to why we're seeing more of them in the media.
Well, they're pawns.
Right.
They're what is it? Useful idiots, right?
Yeah. I mean, I some shit I just don't even try and figure out, bro. Like, because what would Kanye just forget about everything he believes and as a black man, what the fuck is he? Before he was with Nick Fuentes, he was with Milo Snuffleupagus running around town. Like, what the fuck is he doing?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand.
I don't, but you know what? We shouldn't even try to understand it because it's
like, I think he goes and he sits at home and he's thinking, what could be the worst thing that I can do? There's no rhyme to his reasons.
That may be it. Like, I've achieved this level of craziness and gotten all the news coverage. Like, I'm gonna have to top that to get the cameras back on me again. So I'll show up with a white supremacist. That'll really fuck him up.
I mean, think there's
what was that Dave Chappelle character?
Bixby, Clayton
Bixby, yeah.
the blind white supremacist. Yeah.
I think there is a part of it, and this is kind of a messed up, kind of dark, but I think that minorities tend to, who fall on that side tend to think themselves different. So they may look at other Hispanic and other black people and look down on them and think,
100%.
Culturally speaking, they're not
100%.
They're not the same, right?
I know a lot of Hispanics or Latin American, Caribbean people that look down on black people. They look down on black people.
Hey, newsflash, you're black.
Oh, boy, I don't want to say anything. Next topic, but you will come across some Cubans and some Dominicans that I don't know where they think they come from.
Well,
they might think that
kind of sidestepping, but look what's going on in DR right now. Matter of fact, the U.S. just put out a travel warning to Dominican Republic for people of darker complexion. If you even look or resemble Haitian, they're pulling you aside when you get to DR. They're detaining you. They're questioning you, and it could last for several weeks because they're trying to.
Yeah, and they're putting them in like inhumane facilities and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's like every other Dominican in the island.
Exactly. That's the whole point to this craziness, is that you have so many people of color who are looking at themselves and they're like, no, we're not one of them. You know what I'm saying? Oh, those people over there, they're not. Like, I don't understand it. Like, Kanye West really hanging out and associating with these people, that to me is probably just as bad as his anti-Semitic comments, because you know who those people are and we know what they represent. So he's deliberately trying to affiliate and associate himself with that group of people. That's very telling. It's more telling than even his inability to convey an idea, because he's always scattered and all over the place, but just his association with these people says a lot.
Could it be? This is just me. You know how I like to try and look at both sides or play devil's advocate.
Oh, brother, here we go. There we go. The Damien slant.
The
Could it
Damon effect.
could it be a case of the enemy of my enemy is my ally?
Are you
No.
serious?
It's a question.
He cannot even think that far out. He can't.
Even if he could, where would you even pull that from? What
Well, because
what
both of these
portal did you just pull that out of? Because
The upside down.
the upside down, yes.
Because of all that anti-Semitic shit and the Jews running the industry and causing him billions of dollars, and these two people that he's been seen with are white supremacists and neo-Nazis who are against Jews as well. The enemy of my enemy is my ally. I was just a question. Trying to rationalize his wacky ass fucking shit.
That's just it. There's nothing to rationalize when you're taking a stance. It's the same argument we had with the Republican Party, last week. It's the same argument we've had a bunch of times. I'm more concerned about your actions and what you're doing than what your intentions are. You know what I'm saying? Like what you're doing, who you're aligning yourself with, is what you're doing. That's it. It speaks for itself. That we don't need to create a different narrative for that.
All right.
It's amazing to me. I don't know. It's terrible.
No, it's definitely man, I'm out of
We're
words.
so accepting of it.
What do you mean?
I mean, Dane, look, now I'm not criticizing you, but even like your mentality on it, right? It's very common. Like a lot of people think this way. You start thinking like, why would he do this? Well, there has to be some sort of rational thinking behind it. There has to be some sort of something there. You're pulling things to try to make it more palatable, something that you can accept more.
That is not what I'm doing.
You're speaking that out loud, but that's what your thought process is.
That is not what I'm analytical by nature, so I'm always going to try and analyze something and break it down and try and solve it. That's just the way my brain works.
When we talk about Hitler, does anybody ever say, could it be that maybe Hitler wasn't really anti-Semitic?
I didn't say that though.
Just really was.
No. I'm not gonna let you
Here
do
comes
that.
Julian.
I'm not letting you do that.
Extreme.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? Jesus Christ!
Another horrible analogy, part 2.
He didn't say you said it. He's saying what people, not you, Damien, not you.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Well, what are you saying?
How far do we go? How far do we go when we give people the benefit of the doubt?
Who's giving anyone the benefit of the doubt?
Dame, you do it all the time.
I posed a question. I did not say that is what I think or believe.
That's all I'm doing. I'm posing a question.
Directed at me.
Yes. How far do you take that? It is clear. It is clear as crystal what Kanye West is doing. So it can't be this thing, well, is he doing it because it's the enemy of his enemy or whatever? Like, no, like it's clear that his enemy is his own damn skin color. It's clear that to him, his enemy is anyone outside of what now, white America. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. So why are we trying to get into all that other stuff? I don't know.
It was just a thought, bro.
I think it's human nature when you see these people you may have liked or whatever, and we tend to try to figure out what they're thinking, to rationalize what they're doing.
No, you're not putting that on me. Because that's not what I'm doing.
I don't have to.
I'm not trying to justify anything that he's doing. I disagree with everything and anything that he has done in the recent past. However, it was an attempt at me trying to understand why someone in his position might be doing what he's doing. Nothing more than that.
to be fair to you, you do that all the time. It doesn't mean that that's your opinion. Is you're
Right.
just playing devil's advocate without actually being the devil's advocate.
Thank you.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's all
No,
I'm
it's
saying.
not what you were saying.
I'm saying it's even human
If that's
nature
what you
that
were
people
saying,
do
you
that.
didn't articulate yourself as well as Patricia did.
I did. You're gonna have to rewatch this segment because you jumped to a different conclusion. All I'm saying is you've done this a lot. Even with the Republican Party, you can't bring yourself to call a racist organization a racist organization. You just can't do it.
But
I'm going to throw
but
something
listen.
at you that I heard today.
Hmm.
I'm all ears.
I don't believe all Republicans are racist, but
Most
I do
racists are
believe
Republican.
all racists are Republicans.
Right. Which is the same shit. Essentially you're
not.
saying the same shit. It's the
No,
same
it's not.
thing.
I don't
No,
think
it's
that's
not.
true. I
It's
don't
the
think
same
that's
thing.
true.
You don't think it's the same thing?
No. I don't think that all racists are Republicans because I know some Democrats that are racist. I know some Spanish Democrats that are racist. This is what I was talking about before. I know a lot of Spanish people that can be racist or they say very racist things, and they vote. They're not Republican. But then I also know a lot of Republican Spanish people that think that Black people are inferior.
Yeah, they think they're white. It's crazy. But
I wouldn't say every racist is a Republican.
right. And that's where the generalization of Damien comes into play, right? Because he doesn't like to just cover a whole thing. But I'm saying the majority of people who are racist tend to be Republican. But I don't think it's I'm looking at it in a different way. Because you're not born a Republican. So I'm not generalizing a race or gender. What I'm saying is you're joining an organization because of your beliefs. So if you think that the majority of racists are Republicans, and that essentially means the majority of Republicans are racist. But Damien wants to say no, that ain't the case. But you're joining something
You
because
and
of your
I
beliefs.
prove that wrong every week right here.
Because we are so different, even though we're on the left. Right, but you join your principles are mostly in line with mine. If you're joining an organization, you're joining it based on your ideology, based on your feelings on something. So if you're a racist and you have a bunch of racists and they typically go towards the right, then that means that group is inherently just racist because that's what you're joining. That's your group. That's your constituency.
You joined the group because of your ideology. That does not apply to everybody.
Of course, it doesn't apply to every single human being, but the majority of these people, and that's what we're talking about here, because there's always going to be a one-off, but the majority of people go a certain direction because they believe it.
Okay.
You're not going to subscribe to a magazine about fishing if you're not into fishing. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't make sense to me. If you are the kind of person it's not a bad analogy because you're joining.
Horrible analogy.
No,
I think it's a bad analogy because when Republicans are talking about, in their conventions, they're not openly racist.
They can't be.
Why not?
They can't be. Because they will have no sponsorship, because they wouldn't be allowed to do half the things that they're able to do. But they are racist enough to where you see what's happening. You see it. Like what are we talking about here? We're talking about groups of people in office and citizens. And what are they doing day in and day out? They're literally supporting Nazis. They're literally doing things that are deliberately destroying communities of color. And we're going to sit here and pretend like they're not all shit?
Well, you cannot say all.
Yes, I can, and I have been. But that's what we're doing, and this is the problem with people of color, in my opinion, is that we sit here and we eat the shit day in and day out, so that way we don't appear to be irrational. But meanwhile, we're watching them completely doing racist shit day in and day out. No, but we can't say that because somebody might be offended.
I don't say we can't say that because somebody might be offended. I just think that to generalize, then we are becoming what we are criticizing.
Wouldn't it be accurate if I said everybody who's a Nazi is a Nazi or is racist? Somebody else would say, well, Julian, not every Nazi is a racist. Maybe they joined the Nazi party because of, or because of this. Well, if you join the Republican Party, I'm sorry, but this is what you are. And Kanye West and Fuentes and Snuffleupagus and whoever we're talking about, they're on that they're on that belief system because that's what they believe.
Point taken.
If you join a club that represents a certain thing, then that's what you are. Period. End of story.
That cannot be period end of story. There's people that believe that there's people out there that believe that Muslim men mistreat their wife, or there's a lot of people that believe that in Islam women are lesser than, and that's so far from it. But if you take a poll, if you make a poll, most of the people would say that Muslim men treat their wives like shit. Or, I mean, you don't know how many times I have been asked, oh, can you walk in front of your husband? Can you walk next to your husband? Do you have to walk behind? I mean, so you can't say that. You can't. I mean, a lot of people just think very different than what actually is.
Well, what you're doing is you're comparing a religion and a stereotype of a religion to the Republican Party, and you can't. They're not the same. Your belief in God and your belief in Allah, your belief in your principles and what you are, what you're worshiping. You know what how you feel about your own personal spiritual thing. That's now if your religion was telling you to do X, Y, and Z or whatever, or believe a certain thing and you believed it, then it would be accurate for people to say, okay, well, this is what they believe. What we're talking about here is ugly stereotypes of Muslims that shouldn't really exist based on some extremism. And we have extremism in every single religion.
But when Damien said that he heard something that not every Republican is a racist, but every racist is a Republican, they say the exact same thing about Muslims. Not every Muslim is a terrorist, but every terrorist is a Muslim, which is not true either.
It's not true. It's not true. But
both examples are not true.
But if you are equating those two thought processes and then coming to the conclusion that it's the same thing, it's not. The Republican Party, again, it's not a religion. Even though people act like it is, it's almost like a religion. It's almost like a cult
these days. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So
I mean, I don't fuck with the Republican Party, but you join you're not born. I guess technically you could be born Muslim, but you have a choice of being Muslim or not, just like you have a choice to be a Republican or not.
Look, neither one of you are Republicans because you want tax cuts for the rich. That's not why you're a Republican. That's not why most people are not Republican. People who are not Republican avoid that whole party because they know what they represent. You could be fiscally conservative and be a Democrat.
Yeah, I agree.
There are very few.
I wouldn't say they're very few. The point that I'm trying to make is their basic ideology. The basis of the Republican Party is for white supremacy. That's what it represents. And we're seeing it. When you see a black person convert to being a Republican, what are the things that they're saying? They're saying anti-black shit. Like, they're not saying like, hey, I don't believe in racism. I don't believe in all that nonsense. I'm just conservative when it comes to tax cuts, or, maybe I'm just whatever. Like, no, most of them sit there and attack their own people. In fact, all of them. I haven't seen one example of a person of color who's a Republican who doesn't attack people of color on a regular basis. Every single one of them do.
Wait
And what do the
minute,
white people do in that party? They're clapping. Yes,
but
yes,
wait a
because they
minute.
can't say it.
But I mean,
It's
everybody.
almost like a requirement.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. You're a
Like, if
black
you don't do
Republican.
it-
What are you
if you
talking
don't
about?
do it-
You're talking about black on black crime.
I hate that term, by the way.
It's a made up term. It's bullshit.
It's yeah. It should be crimes of proximity. That's
It's
all
like-
it is.
Late term abortion, black on black crime.
It's like if you're in a neighborhood and it's 80% black and a crime is committed against you, it's likely going to be a black person. If you're in a white neighborhood and it's 80% white and there's a crime committed against you, it's likely going to be a white person.
Why can't it
it's
be
that
a-
simple?
Why is it a black on black crime, but it is not a white homegrown terrorist? Why is that not a catch?
Oh, they're not even white
It
people
should
are
be.
not terrorists. They're mentally ill.
They're mentally ill. Yep.
I mean, but there's white people all over the world.
You know what they are? They're active shooters.
Not terrorists.
They're not terrorists.
That's only for
you're-
Muslims.
Right.
Right. It is. And we're gonna sit here and pretend like that side of the aisle isn't representing that, because they damn sure are. Tune into Fox News for an hour and tell me that you can go an hour there without hearing some side eye shit or some kind of message. Why is that? Like, I'm not making it up.
They've been
If you
very
want to join
quiet.
that, then what are you?
They've been very quiet about that Colorado shooter for sure.
But why?
Because he's white,
Because they're-
Republican.
So what am I saying that's so crazy? Let me
Oh.
ask you something, Damien. Let me ask you this:
Yes.
you meet
Yes,
someone,
He's
you
itchy.
get it. You go to a workplace, you go somewhere, you meet someone, right?
Mhm.
Southern accent, got the cowboy shit on, whatever. You don't think they're racist, right? That's not the first thought that comes in your head. You just think it's a Southern guy, right? Country guy, whatever, right? You try to give that benefit of the doubt, is what I'm saying.
No, not
You don't.
necessarily.
So you generalize white country people.
I know, but I
Stereotype?
I
Listen, I'm gonna answer
No,
for you.
hold- wait,
If I'm
wait.
driving down- if I'm driving down Mississippi and I run into a white country village area, I'm gonna keep driving. I just passed Syria and I was very comfortable all the way down there. Don't
I'm-
put me
I'm-
in no Texas.
I'm
Don't put me in
I'm
Texas.
trying to make a point.
Okay.
I want Damien to answer that. Not
Well-
that extreme. You're not in Mississippi. You're in Tampa, right?
yeah.
You see a guy wearing jeans
with
and
Lakuchi.
you're in with Lakuchi, yeah. And you see that guy. You're in Spring Hill or something, or Newport Richie. You're in somewhere there, and you see some guy kind of dressed up cowboy. He says, "Hey, like those white dudes, they were like, 'Hey, brother,' says that to you. Do you automatically go to, I gotta watch that guy, he's racist?
No.
Okay, you look like you were gonna say yeah, but you say no, right?
No, well, the way you just wrapped it up I would say no. What I do is
Ew.
Do you do?
Ew. That's gross.
we all do. I'm gonna be more alert. I'm gonna be more receptive. My antennas are up, and then it just goes, depends on how the interaction goes, body language, shit like that. But I am watching.
Okay, so now that same person tells you that they're a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
That now becomes magnified, right? That now changes the narrative quite a bit.
We're starting to shift. Yeah.
Now, if that person told you in a casual conversation that they're on the left, they're liberal, you assume, oh, this is just some country dude who's got his brain in order and he's cool. But the moment they tell you they're Republican, you're going to have a whole different idea of who that person is. And it's not because you're generalizing, it's because we know what it is. We just don't want to say. We know what it is. We just don't want to say.
Well, and again, this is where we split. Because while I have had those experiences enough to make me feel that way, I've also had experiences that contradict it. And that's what won't allow me to say that they are all like that.
Right. Okay. If a cop pulls you over and he has a BLM patch on his sleeve, you're going to feel a lot better during that pullover. That same cop pulls you over and he has a MAGA hat on or something like that. You're going to be shitting in your pants, bro. Like, let's be real. Let's be real about what we're talking about here. We're talking about life and death. You know, we're talking about policy. We're talking about.
That's a different scenario.
I'm not talking about grandma who's hasn't been out the house in 20 years other than to go to bingo in Publix, you know, who votes Republican because she thinks Ron DeSantis looks like a grandson. I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about the party within itself and what they represent. I think as people of color, we can't keep denying this. I think we're doing ourselves a grave disservice.
Heard you.
And you don't agree, and that's cool.
I mean, you know, we've danced this dance before. I don't think we.
I want to keep dancing this dance. I know we got to move on to the next topic, but I think it's important for all of us to see what's happening.
I agree. Like Patricia kind of brought up, you know, with this what was going on in Colorado, was it? Mass shootings
In Virginia.
And in Colorado, Virginia, right? And in Virginia. So man walks into his workplace in Virginia and just starts shooting up the place. 5 people. How many people?
5 people, and with him, 6. He ended up killing them and then he shot himself. And he was the Walmart manager too.
You know, and then the Colorado one, I gotta say, it before we get into the gun topic and everything, I was glad to see the pictures, the mugshot of the guy in Colorado, knowing that he got his ass stomped out by, I think it was a transgender person, right?
Transgender woman. She's putting the heels to the head, stomping them out. I hope there's a camera in there somewhere and that footage comes out one day.
Not only I wish it comes out, but I hope that every time he goes out of his cell to eat, that they're playing it on like a big screen, just looping the shit over and over again. I mean, I love it. It's a tragedy. It's horrifying. And, you know, but if there's one thing about the story that I found amusing, to be honest with you, was that, but it's horrible. The idea that we keep seeing this. There are 607 right now mass shootings as of November 22nd of this year. And that's just short of the 638 mass shootings that we had at this point last year. So in the last 2 years, by November, we're running into about 600 or so mass shootings, and that number is probably going to stay around there, if not increase a little bit more year
Roughly
after
2
year
a
until
day.
we do something. Yeah, you figure it's about 2 a day. One time should be news for the whole year, and yet we're seeing this at a more frequent
I mean, I think
more
this
frequently.
year, I think we'll hit 700 by the time the year's over, for sure. And I think next year might be 800. It's not decreasing at all. But
Yeah.
then
What does
guns
it
are not the
mean?
problem.
I think
Guns are the problem. You were saying that sarcastically, right?
No,
I
I
was
know,
gonna
I know.
s-
I was.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
gun, oh, Patricia. I was gonna say gun laws are, I believe, the problem. The Republicans have gone out of their way to lax them, and then you have, this era with Trump that just gave people a confidence to do whatever the fuck they want to do, and know that, to some degree they're going to be protected, or protected as much as possible, which we've seen in many of these cases. Some of them have, walked away with no punishment. So I just think people are a little bit more bold, and they can get guns very easily. And a lot of them didn't get punched in the face enough as kids.
Oh God, we're not gonna do that.
So, I mean, look at
What
this. Go ahead.
what makes someone wake up in the morning and they're thinking about gay people, they're thinking about transgender people, and instead of trying to understand or trying to put yourself in a position even to debate, even if you disagree with it, what makes that person wake up and think, I am going to just kill them?
I think, and we've seen this play out a lot, not in every case, but in a lot of the cases, usually these people are suppressing these desires within themselves, and are taking the rage that they have for themselves out on others that represent what they're fighting within themselves.
I don't know what
Wait,
the
so
case
you
is
think
with this guy.
Say
Go
again?
ahead, Patricia.
so what you're saying is that like you feel like you think that he might have had like gay tendencies or gay thoughts?
Yes.
Huh.
I don't know if I believe that, because
I don't either, yeah.
the fact that he's related to a politician who's a MAGA supporter, right?
Yes, his grandfather is a California legislator who is
So
heavily MAGA affiliated.
right? So again, it goes back to that ideology, right? We're superior, we're better, these people are threats, whether they're gay, whether they're black, whether Hispanic, whether they're Muslim, whatever it is, right? Whatever group they decided to target at any given point. And I don't know if it's him suppressing. I don't want to even speculate that suppressing anything, and he's having some sort of self-hate. We've seen that before, and
That's all I was saying. I didn't mean
we've seen that
to
before.
specifically say that that's what's going on with him, but
Right.
that can be that. A lot of times that's the case. And if you think about the environment he grew up in, and who his family is, and who his father is, then it's
that's what I
not.
was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. With him, I don't think, I mean, of course, I've never talked to this guy, but it seems like he was raised to hate
Right.
gay people, because the dad was like, we're conservative, we're Mormons, we don't do gay. Like his dad was more concerned of the fact that his son was at a gay club, and then when he found out that he was the shooter, he's like, oh, great.
That interview with his father was shocking.
That was some of the craziest shit I ever seen. the reporters are telling him, that his son was involved in the shooting at a gay club, and his thought is, why is my son at a gay club? And then they're like, no, your son was the one that was shooting the people in the gay club. And he's like, oh, thank God. I thought my son was gay.
Right.
We're Mormon.
That's how...
We're conservative. We don't do
we
gay.
don't do gay.
Didn't he look like
right.
he was kind of like?
So secretly, they're probably looking at him as some sort of hero. He's a martyr for the cause, right? He's sacrificing his freedom, maybe even his life to.
I think that also strengthens the idea that he could have been struggling with this.
I don't know. I think most people, even people on the far right who are struggling with coming out, I think most of them eventually find their way. And it's usually not in, they're not usually murdering
Of
people.
Course, yeah. I mean, I think most of them struggle with it, and certainly it's a small number that end up shooting people because they can't deal with it. But
if your surroundings are all super conservative and super hateful, I can see you taking out your anger violently, but not against the very people you probably identify with.
But that's usually because they hate themselves because of it. That's usually what happens. I just saw in the news today, and it could be a ploy. My first thought was it was a ploy to get the hate crime charges off of him. But
are you serious?
He was when they were asked, I guess somehow it was asked, how he prefers to be referred to, and it wasn't he or she, it was they, or
he was non-binary.
Right. So
the Colorado shooter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he was non-binary. He identified as non-binary.
My first thought was he's just trying to get the hate crimes off of him.
Huh.
But I mean, as we're talking about it here, and it could be a possibility.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
I'm
sure he's just trying to get the crime. I'm sure he's trying to get the crime hate dismissed.
That was your Puerto Rican coming out. The hate crime.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that, but again, and it's like that flow chart, right? It's something like mass shooting, outrage, mass shooting, media
Thoughts
coverage, mass shooting, nobody does anything, mass shooting or whatever.
Reset.
We're gonna have this discussion probably forever until we're long gone, because I do think that we're not changing any of the gun laws for the better. But this is yet, in my opinion, another example of this country just losing control. And I think guns are a big part of that. I think we're just we're becoming a lawless country.
Yeah, pretty much.
Based on his history, he should not have been able to have access to a gun. But
isn't that how it usually goes? The FBI usually knows who these people are, and they're just like, I mean, he made a bomb where he threatened his mother with a bomb the year before, and then he was allowed these type of guns, like he was able to buy, and he didn't go to jail, or they dropped his charges, or they expunged his his record. This is
they never actually charged him. Yeah, they never actually charged him. Oh. And so it never went on his record. And then he changed his name. And then he bought a gun and killed people with it intentionally.
It goes back to the thing that you hear conservatives say all the time, or major gun supporters, is this idea that law-abiding citizens shouldn't be punished for criminals. But it turns out that most of these people who commit these crimes are law-abiding citizens until they're not. So, of course, there has to be some sort of preemptive way where we can just So to stop this stuff, so there are warning signs. If somebody has a history, somebody has mental health issues, there should be things in place to stop this.
There's absolutely zero reason that any civilian needs to have an AR-15 or AK-47 or anything of the like. There's no reason for it.
Absolutely. No reason for it whatsoever.
Especially when I mean, even if you want to live in a bubble that you don't believe that this is a problematic weapon, just look at the fucking meme. It lists all the shootings and what they've used. How is this still allowed? I just don't understand. I don't understand.
Because the idea is, oh, well, if you ban that weapon, it's a slippery slope. Now they're going after this and they're going after that. So nonsense excuses that they throw out. But at the end of the day, there really is no reason to have that. You're not really protecting your family with it. You're not
But
really hunting deer
the
with it.
weapons were banned in this country at one point, and it was
And
the
it was-
Republicans who reversed it. And ever since then, the mass shootings have only risen. So
They don't see any direct correlation.
they don't want to see it then because it's clear as day.
So at the end of the day, we just got to vote and know what we're voting for, know what the candidates represent, because I think we're out of control in this country, and it is becoming a lawless country in a lot of ways. But these mass shootings, I don't think are going to slow down at all. But speaking of voting, so New Zealand, the lawmakers over there, they are going to be voting to try to lower the age of participants in voting from 18 years old to 16. The Prime Minister of New Zealand said this on last Monday, and her announcement for that vote came after their Supreme Court ruled that not allowing 16 and 17-year-olds to vote is considered age discrimination. So the question here is, should we consider or implement that here in the States or in any country?
That's interesting. I'm really curious at how they came to the determination that that's age discrimination, because I mean that can just go all the way. That can keep going. Say they pass 16 and now maybe 14-year-olds should vote. Why not? Or we're discriminating against them. I don't quite understand that. But
I think the justification for that would be several levels. I'm only assuming, but maybe 16 and 17-year-olds should be considered of age to be able to make those decisions, considering that they are dramatically affected by that. Some 16 and 17-year-olds are on their own in the world. I don't know about New Zealand, but there are reasons to justify that. But I know a lot of people will probably be opposed here in the States with that. But I think it is an interesting conversation. Patricia, you look like you want to chime in. What do you think?
I guess this is depending which country to country, I guess. I don't even think that 18-year-olds should be voting here because they're like so immature and they don't know shit from fuck.
Wow.
I cannot
tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. I don't think 16-year-olds even know who their governor is. They might not even know who the president is. They might not even know what the Constitution is. I just can't see it in America.
Dame?
I think 18's okay. I would be concerned with 16-year-olds because of the maturity level, the level of understanding, and the vulnerability of that age, or the ability to be manipulated at that age is what concerned me.
Well, to no surprise, I disagree with the both of you. I think it would be a great idea. I think one, it changes the culture. So a lot of young people are not interested in voting. There's no interest in voting once they turn 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There a lot of people, young people, don't vote. You create a culture now where maybe they vote in school free from their parents independently. Maybe it sets a precedent now to have young people more involved in the political system, um, to research it, to discuss it, because their futures are directly impacted by this. I do think it's important that they have some sort of say. We have plenty of older people who shouldn't be voting, in the sense that they don't know what they're doing, and they're voting for terrible reasons or whatever, but that's their right as a citizen.
I,
So I'm all for it. I'm totally for it.
I think the difference is yes, there are older people that are naive or gullible, but they are adults and they're at a point where they're making their own life decisions. Whereas a 16-year-old, true that it does impact them, but a lot of things in the world are impacting them that their parents are responsible for. So I don't know if that's a reason. Now, if it's a case where they're emancipated, by all means, I'd be for it. But
if we're allowing 16-year-olds to work at a McDonald's and serving food to the general public, and babysit our children and do the things that are sort of required in today's standards, I don't see why they shouldn't be allowed to vote. If we're allowing 16-year-olds to drive vehicles, let them vote. They're mature
Yeah,
enough to
but
handle certain responsibilities.
A 16-year-old working at McDonald's is different than saying I'm gonna have a 16-year-old run McDonald's. I don't think that's a good analogy at all.
It's a different thing altogether. They're not running any voting system or anything. They're just
But
putting in a vote.
No, but their vote counts. Vote is very important. I just wish I don't want, the solution is not to bring down the solution is not to bring down the age limit or the starting point. The solution is to get people educated to make smart decisions and know who your representatives are and get educated in that way. It's not lowering it to 16. I just don't think that they have that capability.
Yeah, no, I think I think young people are underestimated. But yeah.
I mean, think about you when you were 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And to give you the responsibility of your votes count. Individually, every vote counts. Imagine I can almost feel these 16-year-olds going in and Christmas treeing, whatever, just to go in and get out. I don't think adults take it seriously, much less younger people. I just think that if we could change the culture of taking your voting seriously, you don't have to go down to 16. You go to 18 and then you go from there. From 16 to 18, there's not much of an age difference. How many 18-year-olds do you have that know what they're voting for?
I think that most young people in this country, we'd be creating a culture, and I think they're underestimated. And I think this should be opened up not only to 16-year-olds, but individuals who are in prison. I just think that we have too many restrictions on voting, and I think 16 is an appropriate age.
I think a 16-year-old would just be duplicating their parents' voting in most cases.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I say, you create a culture where they're voting independently from their parents. That means they're, during class, they're in line, they're in a queue or whatever. Okay, it's now your time to vote. You go into the booth, you vote. It's in the school, your parents aren't there, and you vote for whoever you want. In that same class, maybe they can show the differences in candidates without any bias. Just, this is what this represents, this is what that represents, or give them like a ballot card or whatever.
All right, so Disney has a problem. They have employees that are having a hard time finding places to live affordably. And so they came up with a solution. Kind of.
Well, Universal actually did this first, but
Okay.
yeah.
Bravo to Universal. So Disney is donating 80 acres of land to be used for developing affordable housing.
And this is for employees of Disney, but it's open to anyone. Anyone qualifies, but they did it specifically so that way people who are working at the park, Disney World, would be able to have affordable housing in their general area. Correct?
But that's where it's kind of funny for me, because the picture is painted as this development group, Michael's development group, is building. It all sounds fishy to me, but maybe it's on the up and up. The plans are to build a 1,300 unit housing complex for the employees of Disney to have affordable living. However, you must qualify for the apartments. They don't say what the qualifications must be, but probably income restricted. And it's intended for Disney employees, but everyone can apply, and anyone that qualifies, employee or not, can live there. So what really is this solving?
Solving a lot.
A lot?
Solves a lot.
Please explain.
What they're essentially doing is, Orlando's a very expensive area in Florida, especially in that area with all the theme parks and everything. You got Busch Gardens in Tampa, you got Disney, you got Universal Studios, and all of those different parks. There's a lot of things to do. It's a tourist area.
Yes.
So you have a lot of land and a lot of homes that's being monopolized by these bigger companies that they're renting out homes, and well, they're buying homes and they're not renting them out. They're too expensive for a lot of people to afford. If Disney is paying their employees a certain amount of money, those people probably can't afford on their salary to live in that general area. So opening that up for the general public along with the employees, I think it does help, and it should help lower rent in certain areas because there'll be more options. So I think it does a lot for the economy. It does a lot for that particular area, and why not? It's a positive thing regardless of what their motivation is. Their motivation obviously seems to be able to get their employees to work, but it's still good. It's still good. I wish more larger companies did that.
How much is 1,300 units going to help?
How many employees are there in Orlando?
There's in Disney World, you mean?
Yeah.
77,000.
And how many units are they building?
Wait. 77,000 what?
Employees.
For what?
In Disney World.
Disney World.
Not, you mean the company?
Disney World.
In Disney World in Orlando.
Disney World.
Just one spot.
There's 77,000 employees in Disney World.
In one park. Or the 5 parks.
Not Disneyland, Disney World. Yes.
That doesn't sound accurate to me, but whatever. I'll take your word for it. 1,300 units is still 1,300 units. So you can laugh at it all you want and deem it insignificant, but it's still significant enough to help 1,300 at the minimum people. So yeah.
Yeah, but it's not even restricted to the Disney employees. So how is that?
I'm sure they'll
get. Yeah.
I'm sure there's some sort of options for them. I'm sure they get eyes on it first. Like, I'm sure this just isn't just you're looking at it so cynically where it's almost like they're going to try to turn a profit, and that's why they're opening it up to people. They're opening it up to people because they probably can't discriminate based on where your employment is.
I mean, if they have 77,000 employees and only 1,300 units, they should just then just keep it for Disney employees. Isn't that the
80
purpose?
80 acres. 80 acres. And they're
Are they building
developing
mansions?
1,300 units?
I'm confused. What are we
Is it
complaining about
1,300
here? That
units
it's
like
not
a
large
building?
enough,
It
or
just doesn't make none of it. It doesn't make sense. Like, I could come up with off the top of my head probably at least 2 or 3 better solutions. And like if my employees are living in faraway areas, then it would probably cost less money to bus my employees to work from wherever they live. Create bus depots in certain areas and bus people to work. Than to
but the issue is rent. The issue is cost of rent
in around that area.
Okay, when you say 77,000 employees, you're assuming, or you're not assuming, but the assumption could be taken that all those people need places or that all those people can't afford. I'm sure there's a good amount of people who probably can afford to live where they're living. This is probably designated for people who probably have lower end jobs at Disney.
Oh, okay.
And it probably works for them really well.
Okay. I guess
Still
maybe
stuck at their 77,000 employees for Disney World. I'm actually trying to find out if it's Disney World, like the parks in Orlando, or just
The
I
corporate
mean, I guess
wing
it
of
can't be world. Yeah, I don't think it could be corporate though. I guess that would be right. I mean, I don't know. That seems like a lot of people.
Disney World.
Okay, the property. Okay, and I'm reading here. Hold on.
Disney overall has 223,000 employees, but in Disney World, 77.
All right, so Patricia, you're concerned about what? Like, do you think this is a good move? Do you think it's not enough? What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's if they're donating the acres, I don't see anything wrong with it. The only thing that I think it's if they're doing it for the purpose to benefit their employees, then for the time being, it should just be to cover their employees, not to open it to the public.
For me, it's just Disney doesn't have the track record of being this thoughtful about their employees. So it just feels weird to me.
Maybe they're turning a new leaf.
It was just a couple of years ago where they took all of this, they took hundreds of millions of dollars from the government to be able to keep their employees and then laid off thousands of employees.
Yeah, those are business decisions, and those are business decisions. But I do think that being able to keep the workforce you need is also a business decision, and I think that's where the motivation is. I don't think they're doing it out of kindness. It's still good. The results are still good, no matter what the intent is, right? But I still think that they're doing it for their benefit because they probably have a good amount of people who aren't making much money that need to stay employed. It's gonna, if you love working there and you have a potential to move up or whatever, but you can't afford to live there, like it helps you dramatically.
Yeah, I can see that. But then I don't know, just all seems weird because then even if you just look at it like that, then why are you making it open to the public? You can make it a private facility and
but I'm sure there are business reasons behind that. I'm sure that there are a lot of obstacles that they would have to go through to make it exclusively for their employees. Like we're talking potential taxing, we're talking potential just different things. Like I don't know if that would even make sense for them to not open it up. I think I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than just saying, "Oh, well, why don't we just have it exclusive for the Disney employees?" I don't think it's just that simple.
But it's kind of like a branding thing, because then if it's just to help the local housing market, then just donate the land and build as many properties as you can on the land and dedicate it to affordable housing, and then that could be it. But if you say
Maybe this is the start of something else. Maybe there are more plans, and maybe this is just the beginning phases of it.
I thought about that, but I would think at the point of announcing, they would have more to announce than 1,300 units if there was. But you would think it has to be more going on because it's 80 acres. You're not using 80 acres to build 13. What it sounded like to me was apartments, or maybe they're townhomes. I don't know, but you wouldn't call a house a unit. So usually that refers to condos or apartments.
Apartments, yeah.
So, I mean, you could do that on less than an acre. I don't know. But I guess bravo, Disney.
Yeah. Like, why not, right?
Sure.
Mickey Mouse is hooking it up.
What they need to do is lower their ticket price. That's what they need to do.
Or maybe they need to pay their employees more.
Well, they could do both.
Isn't that the case everywhere? Pay your employees more?
Yeah. I wonder what do we know what the average salary at Disney is, or what the pay is there?
So Disney pays its employees an average of $18.53 an hour. Our hourly pay at Disney averages from $12 to $36 an hour. So that's actually not as bad as I thought it would be.
I see 15 to 22 for cast members. But I guess because when you talk about average salary, that probably includes execs and
that goes from concessions to all the above, right? So so I mean, of course they could pay their employees more, but I think this is somewhat of a nice thing to do. It's better than what we see in companies like Walmart do, at McDonald's, where they're telling you cheapest ways to eat. Just eat at McDonald's. Yeah.
I want to know who eats a McRib. I want to know someone that personally eats that shit. And I would like to ask them, why are you eating that?
My business, no, I don't eat them. But my business partner, he loves them. And he can't wait till they like seasonal. So every year when they come out, or whenever they come out, he's all about it.
He gets excited, like his Thanksgiving dinner.
I don't know if he gets that excited, but yeah, he wants so much barbecue sauce on it that it's dripping down his hands.
Oh, that's so disgusting.
He loves it. The onions, everything, the pickles. Yeah, no, he loves it. I've eaten them before, but I couldn't tell you I couldn't tell you when the last time I had one was.
Did you say your partner likes the pickle?
My business partner likes the McRib. That's what I said.
That's what I heard.
Dame, you have this tendency to just say things that just sound really sus,
But I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You didn't say what?
You said it.
My business partner.
You didn't say what?
That my partner likes pickles.
That your partner likes what pickles? Your what?
See? Nah, not having it. I didn't say that shit.
He said
my business partner likes the McRib with the onions and the pickles on it and extra.
And he
sauce.
said he likes when the juice is dripping down.
Yo, you've got a problem, both of you. It's bad.
No, it's just an observation.
Fuck out of here.
We're just
What do
looking
you-
for clarity.
I don't know where you're gonna find it at, buddy.
Where should we look?
I couldn't tell you. I got no
Dang,
help.
don't get so defensive, bro.
See, look
It's
at you.
quite all right.
Here we go. Here we
It's
go.
quite all right, man.
It's okay. We're not in Qatar.
We love you anyway, bro.
Qatar. Speaking of Qatar, that's a good segue there, Patricia.
So, what are we talking about?
FIFA.
FIFA. No, what's going on with FIFA? Well, they've been protesting for Qatar's, I guess, guidelines or laws that they have over there. Muslims are not allowed to drink. So I guess alcohol is not something that's readily available everywhere. And so when FIFA decided to go to Qatar, they were under the impression that they were going to be able to sell alcohol at the stadiums, being that Budweiser is their number one sponsor. But 2 days prior to the World Cup to start, Qatar said that they were not going to sell alcohol. And you cannot display any you cannot display any religious symbols while there. Women have to dress conservative. There can't be any like PDA. Definitely no like gay or lesbian anything, no symbols, no rainbow flags, nothing.
But just to
But,
clarify that, so
so
other
they-
non-Muslim citizens are permitted to drink?
Yes, they sell alcohol there. Actually, there's alcohol being sold outside of the stadiums, but inside of the stadiums, they're not selling alcohol.
How does one, maybe you don't know, but how does one determine whether they're Muslim or not? Could you not denounce your religion and then take a couple
That's a
drinks and
very
then go
good
back to
question.
it?
That I don't understand. How can they say, okay, you're Muslim, you're not Muslim? I don't know how they'll be able to tell. But I want to go.
See, my thinking is, I'm FIFA, I'm Budweiser, I'm whoever. Why would you go to a country that basically half the population doesn't want you to sponsor what exactly is you are?
I mean, I think Qatar was, I mean, you're talking about sponsors and FIFA. I don't know. I mean, this has been going on. This has been in the works for 13 years. So maybe Qatar offered a lot of money to bring them in. You know, I know that they built like, I don't know how many different stadiums to be able to do the games. So maybe there was a huge incentive into why they were going to go to Qatar. But people have been protesting.
People want the beer or they don't want the beer?
No, they're saying that they should sell. They're mad because they're not selling alcohol. Of course, you're having everyone from a lot of people from different parts of the world going. But, you know, just because you drink alcohol freely in your country, that doesn't mean that happens in, everywhere else.
Right.
So you're not going over there to have a Budweiser. It's not even that good of a beer. You're going over there for the game. Just watch the game and don't drink. What's the big deal?
For those,
I would agree.
For the residents of Qatar, they have to get a license to buy alcohol.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So you would probably identify yourself as whatever religion you are at that time, and then you get your license, whatever. And then like restaurants and places like that won't have it, but hotels will have a bar, or you might find a liquor store like somewhere out in the outskirts, but it's not so easy to come across.
That is very odd.
That's not so. I mean, it's
No, it's odd that they would choose that venue, that place. But
Oh
I
yeah.
guess if maybe
Drink.
laws change and it was in the works for a long time and it's too late to pull out, maybe that has something to do with it. But
12-year
yeah,
process.
So,
I guess
Julian, would you go? Would you go to Qatar to visit if they tell you, "Hey, come, let's go here"?
I don't drink, so it doesn't really matter to me. Like I'm not a drinker. But just to visit Qatar, I don't know enough about the country to just say I'd go visit. Um, and I'm not into like traveling to different countries like that. It's just not my thing.
I'd love to
I
go.
love traveling.
Me
Me too.
I love to travel. I'm just not into I have to see every corner of the world. Like it's just not like
I don't have to see every corner of the world either. Like I could, if I never saw Russia, I'd be cool. But
I mean,
I
I would like to
mean,
go to.
see, I don't know. I have respect for other countries and their laws and I'm not gonna
Yeah.
walk in anywhere and just I'm an American and just whatever. Like I don't know. Like in there, I'm gonna be ignorant to a lot of their culture and the things that they do, and I'm just not interested in that in this phase of my life. So
well, I think it just matters on how you go about it. Like if I know I'm going to go someplace and I'm going to be there for a period of time, I'm going to study. You know, I'm going to learn about their culture as much as I can to know not to um, just violate some of their social norms. But if
yeah,
you also, but even going there and they recognize that you're not from there, a lot of people tend to be understanding, especially if you inquire. Tara's beautiful,
I
man.
don't know about.
so is Arizona, the Grand Canyon.
That's not what I would call beautiful. But
I mean,
and
it
then
is beautiful, but
Are you kidding me? The Grand Canyon? You wouldn't call that beautiful?
I mean,
no,
it's beautiful, but I don't know. Like, you know what the thing is with me in the United States? It's such a baby country. When you walk into other countries and you see like history, I think that's just amazing. And I
Have you
don't
been to
like.
the Grand Canyon, Patricia?
Have I been to the Grand Canyon?
I
I don't
flew
See,
think so.
over
no,
it.
you wouldn't say that if you've been there. You would
Yeah,
remember it.
I would. I don't think so. I'm trying to think honestly. When I was younger, no, uh-uh.
Wow.
I've seen it from the airplane. I haven't seen it in life.
And you don't think the Grand Canyon is beautiful, Damien?
I mean, it's if someone said, "Would you like to go enjoy the sights of Qatar, or would you like to go enjoy the sights of the Grand Canyon?" I'm gonna be on the next 22-hour flight.
That's crazy to me.
Me too.
You guys have no idea what you're talking about.
Damien
You
said
have
he just
no
saw
idea
the
what you're talking about.
Flintstones, so he doesn't need to go see the Grand Canyon.
I mean,
What? Wait a minute. What is your idea of what the Grand Canyon is? Like, what do you guys think? It's just rocks or something? Like, what? Like the way you two are speaking
No, I
about it
would
is like
love.
it almost sounds like I'm describing like a Holiday Inn or something. Like, what are we talking about here?
I saw it. I flew over it, but I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't go
You flew.
hiking. Yeah,
Is it because you're not
helicopter.
a hiking type of person?
Oh, I'm definitely not a hiking type of person. I'm
So
definitely.
what would you do in Qatar that would be?
For me, it's kind of like what Patricia said: the history, the culture. Like those are things that I appreciate more, and it's just a beautiful fucking place to be to look around and just see.
There's a lot of history and culture in the Grand Canyon. There's a lot of native culture and stuff, a lot of stuff that I learned that I didn't know, a lot of amazing pieces of artwork and towns and different things. What are we talking about here?
We have never been, bro. So when you're saying it like we're arguing that shit is bullshit. I have no idea what you're talking about. It just
I'm
doesn't.
only saying that in the sense where you have an assumption, just like an immediate assumption of what
Listen,
it is, or
if
is it?
somebody gives me an option of you can go anywhere in the world or anywhere in the United States, I'm gonna pick somewhere else besides the United States. My first thing is not gonna be like, oh, I want to go to Grand Canyon.
That's because you kind of hate the United States, so that makes perfect sense.
No, it's not that
I mean,
no.
the first episode you were here, you were shitting on New York, which I can't even.
Listen, I'll tell you what. I will go to the Grand Canyon before I go to New York City. How about that?
I guess that's swell.
But if they tell me, do you want to go to the Grand Canyon or do you want to go to Japan? I'm going to go to Japan.
Well, I mean, I guess I can understand. It's more exciting to fly outside the States, but
yeah, because that's what I think it is. Like I find it's a really strange thing. I don't know how it happens, but I find that people who have been outside of the country at least once tend to want to get outside of the country more, where people who haven't been outside of the country enjoy traveling within the US. I don't know what that's about or why it is, but like once you get out, you get the bug, bro.
Yeah, but if you've not really done much traveling in the US for those same purposes, it is a little bit slanted of a view. There are a lot of things within the United States that you may just happen to be in the state just because you're driving through or you have to go somewhere. But if you're going there to see the history of the state or that general area and see the landmarks, then you're going there for a different reason. And then you can see the culture and see the things that are there. So if you just happen to fly over the Grand Canyon, that's not like visiting the Grand Canyon.
No, I mean, just in in June, we just went to Savannah to we learned quite a bit of the history there and the culture, but it was cool.
You know where I would like to go?
But it was Savannah, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not New York, right? Is it? It's not the Grand Canyon. It's not Yellowstone. It's not the Redwoods.
That's where I want to go. I would love to go to Yellowstone. I've never been. And I also would love to visit New Orleans.
Right. It's not New Orleans. Like, it's fucking Savannah. Like, okay.
Savannah is actually, it's kind of similar to New Orleans, actually.
But it's not New Orleans.
No. New Orleans is dope, too. I was in New Orleans in April. So, I mean, it's not like I've not seen the U.S. or, traveled to these different places and learned about the history, but it just doesn't move me like getting out of the country.
I always would prefer to go to different places with different history, different culture. Like, I don't care about going to Cancun. You could offer me a trip to go to Cancun, or you can offer me a trip to go to Saudi Arabia. I'll take Saudi Arabia before Cancun. Any day.
I don't want to get it either.
Yeah, I might skip Saudi Arabia, and I've already been to Cancun, so I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry.
I might skip Saudi Arabia. I'm not gonna lie, but Dubai, maybe United Arab Emirates. I don't know. They're kind of like Saudi Arabia, aren't they?
Who?
The UAE.
I have no idea. I'm gonna go and I'll find out.
All right. Find out before you go. Why don't you do that?
No, I'm gonna go and I'll find out there.
I don't know if that's how I want to learn, but yeah, man, I just like I watch food shows, that deal with like food from around the world. And it's not so much the food, though I love food, but you pick up on culture, learning about these different foods from around the world as well. Like that's just what interests me the most.
Actually, on the trip that we just did to the east of Turkey, I felt like I was in a completely different country. It's very, I could barely even understand how they spoke, but I felt like I was in a completely different country and within the country. So, and even the food was different. Everything was different. It was very beautiful. I'm glad that we went. I'm glad that we left when we left, but I'm glad that we went.
Yo, do you feel like you might just be a little jinxed or something?
What do you mean?
Actually, she's quite lucky.
I felt like,
Right? Like
thank
you
you.
you were in a part of town, and like the next day there was a suicide bomber. Then you venture across the country to the outskirts of Syria, and then you leave there and there's a bombing the next day.
There's two. Yeah.
And then you come back home, and then the next day there's an earthquake.
I think God is calling me. He's letting me know. He's letting me know, bitch, I'm here.
Or maybe
You
he's
have
telling you
one
stay
foot
your
in, one
ass
foot out.
home. Maybe you
Yeah.
need to.
I mean, I was home when the earthquake was here. It was here. So that only tells you then when it's your time, it's your time.
Right.
But no, I want to go back. I love the east of Turkey. I've been wanting to go for a very long time, and I told my husband I want to take a plane and go back over there without the kids so we can really just be there relaxed.
And what did your
And
husband tell you?
he said, yes, honey, whatever you like.
Right.
He said, what? No, I do. I mean, I didn't know. I've always wanted to go. And then he's like, oh, he's never been to that part of the country either. But then he leads with like, but I've always heard of this area, and this area. I'm like, oh, why? Like, good. And he's like, no, for, like war and terrorism. And then I was like, oh, really? So maybe we should go and so we can take pictures. He's like, no, I'm going to keep driving. So we would pass the checkpoints, and I'm like, but wait, I wanna take a picture. I wanna take a video. He's like, no, we're just gonna keep driving until we make it to the other city. But I loved it. I mean, I was like, let's really look at the Syrian border. I want to take a picture of it.
Why? I don't understand.
Because
Just
how
go
many
on
times
Google.
are you gonna
You
be able
find
to
pictures of it, like
Yeah.
it's not worth it to me. Like
I'm not. I'm not going to that extent. I'm gonna stay in Istanbul. I might go to the to the outskirts, into the outer towns, but I'm not trying to trek across the border of Syria and Iraq. I'm not trying to do that. No, thank you. You're crazy.
It was a
she's a
fun
little
trip.
bit.
It really was.
What if your trip was a day longer? What if you left a day later?
When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. It doesn't matter what you're doing, where you're going. I can die in my own bed. If when is your time to go, is your time to go. It doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, I get that, but don't you feel like it would be pressing your luck just a bit just to go right back there?
No, I didn't see enough.
Okay.
It's so beautiful. I really do believe that when is your time to go is your time to go. I can die in my car. I can die from a heart attack, whatever. I can die by a missile hitting me because I'm traveling.
That's a crazy way to look at it. I don't believe in fate. So no.
Yeah, I subscribe to that way of thinking when I was in Afghanistan, because that's probably the only way you can survive without going crazy. Because you just accept the idea that when it's your time, and then you can live freely.
So, Julian, you feel like what is it that what is it that you don't subscribe to? I mean, you're gonna die when it's your time to die.
I don't subscribe to the idea that um that we have a predetermined time that we're gonna go. I think we control a lot of that. Some of it we can't. I can't control if an airplane crashes into my house. But I can definitely control if I'm hanging out, at the Syrian border or whatever. Like I could control that. You know what I'm saying? I could control a lot of things. So I'm gonna try to minimize the threat of losing my life prematurely.
But maybe you just think you have the control.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
dumb.
but like I
That's
would
dumb.
understand. I would understand. I mean, I'm not gonna go and cross the street and close my eyes and see if a car is gonna hit me or not, you know. Especially if it's something that I want to do. I cannot live my life thinking, "Oh, I want to do that, but oh, I'm scared that I'm gonna die." No, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Listen, I'm not gonna say the name of the person, but I knew a girl that she lived her life vegan, exercise. I mean, she was a beautiful person. And she died so young because of cancer, right?
What's her
And
name?
I remember that I used to, huh?
Nothing.
I'm sorry? Oh,
Nothing.
I remember that I used to talk to her. I remember that I used to talk to her a lot, especially, you know, through her cancer and, you know, all the trials and tribulations that she went through. And I always would say, I feel so bad. I feel so sad. How can this happen to you? Da 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 da. You know, and she's like, you know, it's what's meant for me. And she's like, I wish that people would just live their life. And even though she knew that she was gonna die because, you know, of her cancer, she still lived life like without fear. And it would be, to me, it would be such a shame if I lived in fear of doing things, especially things that I like, because I'm scared that I'm gonna die. I mean, clearly, I'm not going to Afghanistan.
You went to Syria, bro.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not the same. I was like Turkish side.
So there are things what you're saying that I can understand, but you can go extreme with it, right? You can say, hey, I'm into like base jumping off of like skyscrapers. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, but I'm not gonna stop doing the things that I love. But you're increasing the risk of that happening. So this idea that if you're a mountain climber or something and you just keep doing it, you're increasing your chances. And that's all I'm saying. It's the whole philosophy why I don't believe in having a gun, in the house. It's that same reason. You're increasing the chances of an accident happening. So while I get what you're saying, if you have a strong need to travel and to do those things, and that's part of who you are, then you do it. You take those risks. Everyone's going to take whatever risks that they feel necessary. If you're a race car driver, you're going to keep doing that no matter what anybody tells you. So guys, I'm not opposing traveling. I don't know how this conversation turned into that. Do
No,
what you
but
like.
I don't think you're opposed traveling, but you have a fear, and I think this is a common fear. I remember a couple of years ago there was this Puerto Rican, New Yorican girl that came to Istanbul, and she got killed. Like, I think she got raped and she got stabbed. I don't know how many times, and she died. So of course that triggered like my family, and a lot of people don't go over there. It's so dangerous, blah blah blah, and that and the other. A lot of these people that have these experiences, I'm not saying that they bring it upon themselves, but they're doing usually things that they should not do. For example, this lady, of course, it doesn't mean that she should have died, but for some reason, she was walking down a train track in the middle of the night in a bad area of town. You know, if you're going to another country and you don't want to go to jail for having marijuana for 9 years, don't fucking take marijuana, or don't
Right.
do the drugs, or don't go into, like a lot of these things could be prevented.
Yes, a lot of them can, and some of them can't. And I'm just at a point in my life, it's not even about traveling. It's about everything. I'm not taking unnecessary risks in my mind. That's just the way I do it.
But you take unnecessary risk living in the United States and going to Walmart.
Yeah, that's much different.
That Grand Canyon
death
is
is
pretty
death.
risky.
Yeah, if you're doing stupid shit over there, of course.
That's Patricia's point.
In fact, the day that I went there,
point.
the second time I went there, a dude fell and died.
Yeah.
Helicopter was there, and we were within feet from the guy. So yeah, it kind of ruined the trip for my kids and stuff. Because they were there. So yeah, you're surrounded by.
And my kids went to the border. My kids went to the border of Syria for a week, and they had a great time. They didn't see anything happen.
Awesome, and I'm glad. I'm super glad that happened. But that's good for you and your kids. I'll keep my happy ass here and at home.
You want them to be traumatized by their own land.
American trauma is better.
Yeah, I just my desire to travel to foreign places isn't that great. Just
it's not your thing. It's just not your.
It's not my thing. I don't want to be on an airplane for 20 hours. I don't want to be around a bunch of motherfuckers.
No, that shit sucks. That absolutely sucks.
I have this thing. If I go somewhere, I don't want to smell people. I don't want to look at people. I don't want to touch people. I don't want to eat food I don't know where it came from. I'm just not about that. I'm not like, if you put like some food in front of me, I'll try it. I got to know what it is, but I'll mostly try it. But I don't have that strong desire like you, Damien, where I'm just like, hey, I wonder what the cuisine is like, in this town off of wherever. Like, I could give a shit. Like, do they got chicken? Okay, I'm good.
You're one of those.
That was me.
You go to a seafood restaurant and order chicken.
No, I order a lot. Like, I'm very diverse that way, but I'm just making a point,
I'm fucking with you, man. I'm fucking with
you. But I'm just, it's just not something that I'm just super eager to do.
I guess that's what makes us all different, buddy. I guess that's what it is. But I have a deep desire to find out about these other cultures and just experience life the way these people live. Like every time we go somewhere, like we do the tourist shit, but then I'm like, nah, I want to go where the people are. I want to go. I want to
get killed.
I want to go eat. Like where are you gonna take your girlfriend?
Does
out
it matter?
Tonight?
You're gonna shit it out anyway. Like, it's all the same.
It's not the same, man. It's about.
Oh my god! No, you can. The hotel food, resort food, is not the same as going out and eat locally.
It's not. It's about.
Yeah, I don't want food poisoning.
Oh.
Well, then don't drink the water.
Yeah.
What the hell do you think the food is made out of?
No, it's different when you're cooking it than when you're drinking it.
Yeah.
I learned that in Cancun. They told us don't drink the water in Cancun. So we brought a suitcase just with water, just filled with bottles of water. Didn't think about when we were in the club getting drinks and the ice that's in the drinks. It was bad.
It was like the movie. I know you guys didn't see the movie, but Sex and the City, they go to Cancun. So one of the girls is like very upset. She's like, I don't want to drink the water. She went all out of her way to not drink the water, but then she's taking a shower. She's enjoying her shower, and she opens her mouth and the water goes in, obviously in her, and she had diarrhea, she had her pants. But yeah,
fun.
No, where I want to go.
Yay. Oh yeah, that was a great experience.
I didn't have I got all that. I got tonsillitis, laryngitis, a ear infection. It was
from
bad.
Cancun.
Yeah.
Damn.
Luckily, it didn't hit me till I got home. the day I got home, but yeah.
The one place that I told my team that I would love to go, this is a trip that we would have to do without our kids because it's such a long trip, but then I want them to have the experience too. I want to go to Mongolia, but it's far from here. I saw a documentary about it and I'm like, I want to go there.
Yeah, that's a different kind of vacation. That'd probably be a bit much for the kids, maybe when they're older.
Have you met my wild kids?
Just dabble in the sports world a little bit. We're not a sports
My
podcast.
favorite.
Oh
My-
yeah. So just wanted to give a little shout out to Jackson State University, first time going undefeated for the regular season, 11-0, under the tutelage and coaching of the one and only Deion Sanders, referred to as Coach Prime.
Oh, prime time Coach Sanders.
That's just a big deal. It's a big deal. But aside from that, just everything that Deion Sanders has been doing for HBCUs, bringing attention to them, trying to get more money in the schools and in their football conference. It's a really big deal. The HBCUs don't get much TV time. They don't get much attention. And because of that, they're not funded very well. And so they have a hard time recruiting some of the better athletes because athletes want to go where there's going to be TV time and they're going to be seen and known so they can get drafted into the NFL. So he's made big strides in his short time while coaching an HBCU, and it's a pretty big deal. So,
well, congratulations.
Congratulations to Coach Prime.
It's a good thing to hear that. Usually we hear nothing but bad news when it comes to former athletes, or that stuff normally isn't on the radar, especially when it comes to Black athletes and these kind of causes. So love seeing it, love hearing it, and definitely worth talking about.
Yeah, there's an Instagram page just for it's primarily him, but him and the interactions with the athletes. And if you've ever seen an interview with him or him talking, like he's a motivational speaker, and the way he handles these guys, and it's not just about the sport for him. It's him trying to raise men and prepare them for what's next, be it professional sports or their career. It seems like he's making a big difference in these kids' lives, and it like you said, it is something good to see. So if you're interested, check that out on Instagram, Jackson State University. And I have a feeling we'll probably be seeing a lot more of them on TV in the years to come. But I got a question for you guys. I kind of wanted to bring it up while we were talking about Thanksgiving, but we just got carried away like we usually do. Don't get offended.
Don't get offended.
Yeah, as Puerto Ricans.
Oh, here we go. We're great. Yes, we know.
Do you guys use a dishwasher?
Did you know a couple of years ago they did a study that said that the most perfect human being, genetically speaking, is a Puerto Rican woman?
I did know that. A Puerto Rican once told me this.
It was me. Yes,
it was you.
I don't subscribe to racial superiority or any of that, but it's just interesting that someone said it.
It's just interesting that somebody else thinks it.
I don't subscribe to it either, but when the facts are facts, that's what it is.
I mean, we could just, flip that to what it really is, and we know it's, it's all about the Black woman. So, of course, why not?
Your dishwasher.
So what were you saying about dishwasher?
As Puerto Ricans, do you use the dishwasher, or are you the dishwasher? Or do you just use it as a drying rack?
We, in my house, we hand wash dishes and then they go right into the dishwasher.
To dry.
And then no, to get washed because it's more sanitary, disinfecting with heat and the dishwasher. My son would not eat out of a dish if he knew it was if it was hand washed. He will not. So we do both. Rinse it, a little bit of soap, and then you put it in the dishwasher, and then you run the dishwasher at night.
A double washer.
Well,
it's a double wash, yeah.
As a Puerto Rican.
I don't know if that's a Puerto Rican thing or not, but
that's definitely not a Puerto Rican thing.
As a Puerto Rican, we don't use the dishwasher nor dry in the dishwasher because we don't have fucking dishwashers in Puerto Rico.
All right. Okay? Well, it's not necessarily in Puerto Rico. You're not in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rican in the US.
Well, I do the same thing as I do the same thing as Damien. Julian. I rinse. I don't wash my dishes, but I do run them through the water, use my the Brillo thing.
You're supposed to rinse them off before you put them in.
I mean, but you see in the commercials, they're like eating spaghetti and then put it in the washer. But I don't.
Well, that's ridiculous. Well, who's in the commercial doing that? I specified Puerto Ricans. You're supposed to rinse it off and then put it in. That's normal, I think.
No, I rinse. I wash my dishes before putting them in the dishwasher as well. Which, by the way, I'm 42 years old. I just started using the dishwasher maybe a year or two ago. Usually I was washing the dishes by hand and drying them and putting them away. I wouldn't even use a dishwasher, not even to dry or do anything.
Damn.
So I was the dishwasher.
Can I ask you something? So why this question and why? Because we're Puerto Rican. Why not just say, hey, Julie and Patricia, how do you guys wash your dishes? What's the context of this?
Because my experience with the Puerto Ricans that I know have been, regardless of them having a dishwasher, they do not or will not use it. They usually will wash by hand and put it away. Some might use it as a drying rack.
This goes back to the conversation of generalizing.
I didn't generalize. I asked you what you do, and based on the experience.
Actually, my mom has lived in the United States for a very long time. She never used a dishwasher ever. And like I said, I only started using the dishwasher a year ago, but I don't use the dishwasher in the US. I do use the dishwasher here because I feel like more bougie here, maybe. I don't know. But I'm trying to think now, like even when we went to parties and stuff, nobody was ever using the dishwasher.
Well, it shouldn't be a cultural thing. That should be a sanitary thing. It's best to use the dishwasher. It's just like your cutting boards. You should have a designated one for meat, a designated one for, your.
I have designated cutting boards, but I don't put my cutting boards in the dishwasher. I just clean them with bleach.
Well,
but I think the reasoning maybe for Puerto Ricans, especially if they've been raised in Puerto Rico or raised by mothers that were raised in Puerto Rico, we just don't have dishwashers over there. So there's no such a thing as a dishwasher.
I think culturally speaking, if you come from a place where dishwashers weren't used, you kind of an old school mentality, you might just think, hey, just hand wash it and it's good.
It's almost
for the most part, it is good, but
it's almost offensive if you ask a Puerto Rican woman to use the dishwasher. The dishwasher.
I haven't had that experience, but I can see where it was somewhat, yeah.
So what about Black families? Do they use the dishwasher all the time?
It's the same.
What is the same?
For the most part, not as much, but for the most part, a lot of them will. The dishwasher is the drying rack.
That's more work though. You're gonna put the dishes are already clean. You're gonna put them in the dishwasher to dry them, and then take them out to put them away. Why don't you just dry them and put them away?
You know, you even save water using the dishwasher.
I use my dishwasher. I don't use the
So it's even a water saver.
And I put my cutting boards in the dishwasher too.
Actually,
Alright,
I feel like I waste more water when I'm using the dishwasher because I wash my dishes and then put them in the dishwasher.
Yeah, you guys are crazy.
Well, yeah, if you're doubling like I do and you do, yeah, it is more. But anyway, that was interesting.
Yeah, it was
Just a little abrasive.
It was not.
I'm
It
just
was.
kidding.
Oh yeah, it was. It definitely was.
Was not. I meant to ask. While we were talking about Thanksgiving, I meant to ask because
I want to know what light-skinned Black people do with a dishwasher.
we use it.
How do
answer
you-
that?
That's how we should have responded. Like, we use it.
We use it. That's
Say what?
that's-
Dishwasher? What do you mean? We just eat our food on a big leaf. That's what Puerto Ricans do.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, technically we do. Pasteles are in a leaf, so
Right.
say, so
man.
good.
I can't wait to get my batch.
Maybe I should
Yeah.
have my friend bring that too.
You ain't getting those in Turkey, kid.
I know. I cannot even find a
Mm.
plátano here. I would kill for plátano.
They probably
How
have
to do
something.
that.
I bet they probably have something similar to a pastele there.
No.
I
There's
bet.
nothing really like that. It's a
Tamales.
very no, they don't taste the same.
No, I'm not talking about
nothing
taste,
like
but I'm
Pasteles.
talking similar. Not necessarily taste the same, but
I mean, the only thing that they have here that is wrapped in a leaf and it has something inside is what do you guys call what do they call in America? Like stuffed grape leaves or something like that. It is not the same as a pastel, okay?
yeah, no,
And
that's more
tamales
like
are not-
Mediterranean.
Yeah, tamales are not closed, hallacas are not closed because I think they're made out of corn. Pastel is just the best thing you can ever have. I would take a pastel over a baked macaroni and cheese any day.
I don't know about that.
But
You're
not
crazy.
but not in Qatar.
They don't even have macaroni and cheese in Qatar.
Probably. All right. Hip hop album release of the week. Not a whole lot of dropping, but on the 25th, This Is What I Mean by Stormzy drops. You a fan of Stormzy? Probably not.
Probably not.
UK rapper?
Are you asking me?
No. Just asking
Huh.
you.
I'm a fan of Stormy, Kylie Jenner's daughter.
Wow. All right. What you got, Julian?
Well, I don't got any music recommendations this week, but I have two documentaries I want to recommend. So the first one, I actually put Patricia on this a while back. This was The Vow. You can find it on HBO. It's about the NXIVM cult. It's crazy as hell. Definitely check it out. It's wild. And the other documentary is actually, might sound a little bit weird, but you guys remember that painter on TV, Bob Ross? You guys know who
Yeah.
Bob Ross is, right?
MTV guy.
So I oil paint. I do that. I don't quite do what Bob Ross does. It's a different style that I do, but I used to watch him growing up. And I used to watch him all the
Boys and
time with my
girls.
mother. No, he never said that. That's Mr. Rogers, bro. Chill.
That sounded very
so-
profound.
Yeah, it was just like, hello, boy. That sounded really creepy, actually.
That sounded very pedophile-ish.
Yeah, it's like, I got some candy, little girl.
He talked like that, like
You
soft
like some candy,
and
little girl?
no.
He talked very zen-like, Damien. He didn't
Yes.
talk like a pedo, okay?
Well, I don't
Come
know.
Yeah.
what-
over here,
I don't-
little girl.
I don't
Let
know
me
what the
feed
fuck.
you.
What the hell a
Thing,
pedophile?
Just stay in your lane, bro. Just stay in your
Sorry,
lane.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on one second.
Oh,
Those are
another
just
sidetrack.
No. But it is. But because we were talking about pedophiles, it just reminded me of the clothing brand Balenciaga. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
No. Okay.
Related
so
to pedophiles? No.
Yes. So they just, Balenciaga is like huge, uh, fashion house or whatever. And they did a campaign recently. They did a campaign using children. And the children were holding teddy bears that Balenciaga is selling these teddy bears, but they had oh my gosh, I can't think of the word, chokers, and it was very like oh my gosh, can you guys help me out with the word?
Sexual,
When you're like the chokers, huh?
like sexually oriented.
Yes, they had chokers, they had like bondage
BDSM?
shit
BDSM?
on. Yeah.
BDSM?
Yes. I don't know if it's BDSM or whatever it is, but like bondage shit. They had chokers and chains and this and that and the other. So then there's a picture. They're like in an office or in a desk, whatever. So somebody zoom into the documents, and the documents were like from a case in California or laws about pedophilia and this and that and the other. Damien, wake up. Pedophilia. and they had to they stopped the campaign, they apologized, they took all the photos out, and now everyone wants like Kim Kardashian, she's always like promoting them, to come out forward and condemn Balenciaga. I mean, it was a huge thing about child pornography.
I did not hear about any of that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
I think it's crazy. Like 2 days ago. And I think it's crazy how, so now Balenciaga is thinking of suing the content creator, but didn't you see this before you sent it out? I'm sure you probably did not know about the document on the desk, but to have little kids holding these teddy bears with bondage stuff and like sexually oriented, and then I guess the content creator or the photographer or the creative director of this whole shoot has had other problems with like pedophilia and whatnot. So yeah, that's crazy.
They call that outrage marketing. It's intentional.
I mean, it has to be intentional because you have to see it, but I mean, you just receive backlash.
Yeah, and then they're gonna sell more.
I don't think so. They took everything out of the website. They took the whole campaign down. I don't think you can even buy the teddy bears anymore.
It ain't about the teddy bears. They're gonna sell more of their products. It happens every time.
Back to your oil painting, Julian. Sorry.
Yeah, that was kind of rude. But anyway.
Hard left.
Just kidding. Yeah. Bob Ross. There's a documentary on him on Netflix called Bob Ross: Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed. And it's really interesting. The conversation more so, they go into his career and his afro and his zen-like demeanor, but they reveal a lot of interesting things about him. He was exactly who you saw in the show in person, the type of person he was. He initially was actually a drill sergeant, and he couldn't wait to get out of it because he didn't want to be screaming at anybody anymore. He lived in Florida, lived in Alaska for a while, but most of the story is talking about pretty much how these people stole his name and have profited off of him and what happened to him before he passed away. So it's his son mostly telling the story. And it's funny because not too long ago, I remember his son would appear on the show every once in a while and do a painting. And I remember saying, like, I wonder what happened with his son. His son should have had a huge legacy after his dad. And his son talks about it. So those two documentaries I definitely recommend. The Bob Ross on Netflix and The Vow, that's on HBO.
Thank you very much. I'm going to check the Bob Ross. I was kind of hoping that he was an asshole in real life, though.
That he was what?
I said I was kind of hoping that you were going to say he was a real asshole in real life, but...
No.
Why did you want him to be an asshole?
because he was so zen, doing his little paintings with his voice, and it would have been kind of cool if he was just somebody totally different.
How was his
Well,
voice?
I could tell you one
Hello,
thing
little boys and girls, come over here.
I can tell you he actually knew that he kind of had a sexual thing going with the women. He was fully aware of it. So like he would say things on the show. Oh yeah, because of his voice, and there were women and that time that were totally enthralled with him. And his afro was iconic. His afro wasn't even real. He used to do different crazy things with his hair, and then when he got his first TV gig, he had the afro or whatever, and because it became so iconic, he had to keep maintaining that perm.
All right,
but it was his real hair, but it was just permed.
Yeah.
Just for clarity, he was in the Air Force. It's completely different.
What branch were you in, Julian? Damien.
Who said that he was?
Wait, because maybe that was my own assumption. When you said drill sergeant, I imagined my drill sergeants, but in the Air Force, it's different.
Okay, I just said he was a drill sergeant.
No.
Drill sergeants in the Air Force say, "Come on, little boys and girls."
Yeah,
it's happy accident.
It's a little bit more of a kinder environment than in the Army or the Marines, for sure. That was creepy.
Not more than hello, boys and girls.
What did he say? He started off his show with something like that.
In your deep, raspy type voice, could you say, "Hello, boys and girls"?
Hello, boys and girls. Hello, boys and girls.
Jesus, that was great.
You sound like you drive an ice cream truck.
What? I don't even.
I'm sure pedophiles drive ice cream.
Get out of here.
Well, anyway, this
playing with my money is like playing with my emotions.
That's right, big perm.
No, it's big worm.
No,
it's big perm.
It's big worm, but Smokey called him big perm. Yeah, pretty fun.
Oh, okay, being sarcastic. All right. I love that movie.
Classic movie, but I don't know who needs to hear this. They say don't put all your eggs in one basket, but that's the mindset of a complacent person. I say fuck they. You must be willing to risk it all to get where you want. And as long as you have chickens, you'll be able to get more eggs. Never lose the willingness to take the risks.
That was the worst quote of all time.
I thought you were going to say, I don't know who needs to hear this, but...
Like, that was the worst damn quote fucking ever.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but not every Republican is racist, but every racist is a Republican.
No, Damien was just like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but chickens and eggs coexist, and I don't know which came first, but
I hate y'all.
Put them all in a basket, and then
I don't know who needs to hear this, but what came first, the egg or the chicken?
Chicken or the egg?
I hate y'all.
What the hell was that, Damien?
I want it on the record to leave all of this in. I hate y'all. Peace.
Well, on that note, like, share, hit that bell icon, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Follow Instagram, join the group on Facebook. We'll see you there.
And send Damien new quotes. Peace.
Peace.